This is part 2 of my trip to the Natural History Museum in San Diego's birthday party. And while I was there, I got to go into the library, the research library that all of the scientists use. Isn't that so cool? So I thought today we would read a story about scientists to learn about different kinds of scientists. Because we also are going to learn about how they research. So it says, scientists, what do you see? And it's kind of like the book Brown Bear, but this one is about scientists. All right. Einstein, who do you see? I see Marie Curie in her laboratory. So Einstein is a physicist. And he did like math and science. And Marie Curie, she discovered like radiation, like glow in the dark stuff. She was more like a chemist where you work with like chemicals and metals and stuff. Curie, who do you see? I see Ahmed Zwali pioneering laser chemistry. Ooh, laser chemistry. So, look, he's got his laser. Zawali, who do you see? I see Grace Hopper making a computer inquiry. Ooh, computer scientists. Hopper, who do you see? I see James Maxwell with magnets and electricity. Ooh, magnets and electricity. Maxwell, who do you see? I see Ada Lovelace writing computer code for thee. Ooh, computer codes. That's hard stuff. Lovelace, who do you see? I see George Carver studying botany. Botany's like plant scientists. Carver, who do you see? I see Chen Shuing Wu. I hope I say that right. Experimenting carefully. Woo, who do you see? I see Alan Turing inventing computer theory. Oh, another computer scientist. Turing, who do you see? I see Anna Mani studying meteorology. Oh, it's like a weather scientist. Mani, who do you see? I see Charles Darwin and the diversity of species. Darwin was a naturalist or studying the earth and animals. Darwin, who do you see? I see Katherine Johnson solving analytic geometry. Oh, Katherine Johnson helped the first astronauts make it to space with her math. Johnson, who do you see? I see little scientists looking at me. Scientists, who do you see? We see Albert Einstein, Marie Curie, Ahmed Zawali, Grace Hopper, James Maxwell, Ada Lovelace, George Washington Carver, Chen Shuang Wu, Alan Turing, Anna Mani, Charles Darwin, and Katherine Johnson looking at us. That's what we see. All right. And here's about the scientists. So we had scientists that were about physics. We had some chemistry. Chemistry is when you like mix things together, like liquids. Like when you make a volcano and you put your baking soda and your vinegar and it bubbles up, that's chemistry. We also have the laser chemist. It says very short laser pulses to watch chemical reactions. So he would use lasers to watch how chemicals move because sometimes it's too fast for our eyes to see. Grace Hopper invented the first computer compiler, first programmers of the early supercomputer. James Maxwell was electromagnetism and thermodynamics. He also created the first color photograph. George Washington Carver was a botanist. He researched crops and soils, led to a large yield of peanuts and other foods, and he's actually born a slave and then he was freed. Ada Lovelace was a mathematician who published the first algorithm for a real computer in 1843. She's considered the first computer programmer. Wow, 1833, they didn't have, like, computers like we had today. Qin Shuang Wu was an experimental scientist whose work of nuclear physics resolved many questions about quantum physics. She is the first ever female instructor hired at Princeton University. Oh, wow. Alan Turing founded the field of computer science and artificial intelligence. He also helped end World War II by breaking enemy codes. Ooh, AI. He's an AI scientist. Anna Mani is a meteorologist, and she developed and studied new tools of measuring solar and wind energy. Charles Darwin was a naturalist, and he liked to study animals. Katherine Johnson is a groundbreaking work of math and physics that enabled NASA to use computers to calculate space flights. Chris Ferrie is a physicist and mathematician, and he's the author of a book called Goodnight Lab in Quantum Physics for Babies. Ooh. And finally, you. You can be the next person to change the world. There are so many questions left. What will your answer be? And that is all about the scientists. There's so many different kinds of scientists. Of course, I was at the Natural History Museum, and natural history, it was really plants, animals, rocks. Excuse me. That was pretty much it, what they study there. There might be some more, but there's paleontologists, and there was no human history stuff. Like, we didn't see any pottery or mummies or anything like that. It was a lot of natural history. So it was a lot of fossils. There were some gemstones like rubies and crystals that were really cool. And then there was like animal species that we saw, some stuffed penguins and that kind of thing. So it's very much natural history about the earth. But there's a lot of scientists. There's scientists that do archaeologists are scientists that study things that humans have made. Like they would dig up mummies, or they would dig up faces and paintings and sculptures, and then they would study it and tell us about the people that lived long ago. Or you could have a scientist that studies meteorology and can tell you when it's going to rain. Or you could have an astronomer who studies the night sky and can look through a telescope and tell you about things. There's so many different kinds of scientists. And when I went to the museum, I got to go in the scientist library, and they had so much information. And we're going to learn about that. And I talked to one of the scientists, and he said that, I didn't get it on film because I didn't want to film him while we were talking. But he said that he loves coming to the library to research things because it's a lot quicker than the internet sometimes. Because the internet is really fast, of course. But a lot of times you can't read, you can read stuff that people write. But when you're doing research, you have to find sources or books that have been fact-checked. Because there's a lot of stuff on the internet that's not true. So when you have a book, books usually have fact checks, especially if they're academic books. So he finds it a lot easier to go to the research library than to go on the internet, because he knows he can find good sources at the library. When on the internet, it could be somebody who's never ever seen a rock in real life talking about a rock and just not saying the truth. And so let's look at the library and see how the real scientists will do their research there. All right, here we go. All right, guys, I'm at the Natural History Museum's research. We can look at the books. I love books. This herpetology book is for 1800s. Oh, we have some butterflies of California. Wow. Look. Oh, here's how we find what books we want. Let me go look at them. Oh, wow. The New York State Museum bulletins. Oh, wow. They have a lot of books in here. Ooh, we were just at the National Museum. we want to get the books in here, we just turn. Opens up. There you go. Let's see, we've got so many old books. That's cool. They have the journals from all of the other museums, so when they want to ask questions, they can look it up. Oh, that's super cool. Oh, look. The Beatles in Nebraska, Missouri, Science Academy of Science, Milwaukee. They have all the museum records here. That's so cool. This book is from the 1700s. Wow, there's a squid. It says it's a curiosities. And these shells are from the museum's collection. Wow. There's a scientist. Oh, look, it's a frog. Hey, frog. So cool. I had a great time today at the Natural History Museum of San Diego. I got lots of fun stuff and lots of cool videos. We'll have a video with some dinosaurs. I got to see some cool rocks. I also got to see the places where the scientists research. So cool. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Keep reading.